Oh, hey. Hi. Thanks for watching these videos. Please remember to click subscribe, like, share them with your colleagues, and then click show more below each video. Lots of lesson plans and ideas, inquiry questions, perfect for your classroom. Thanks for watching.
The sun really is the life giver here on Earth. Without its light and heat, there could be no life on Earth. Of course, the sunlight is responsible for photosynthesis on Earth, which results in oxygen, perhaps regulating the CO2 levels over the history of the planet and making a climate just right for life. Although we are affecting that, aren't we? But of course, climate change is a lesson for another day. But that is sort of the obvious thing to note, that the sun delivers to Earth light and heat. However, there's something characteristically about the Earth that deserves a bit of attention. The Earth is predominantly blue. Why is that? Well, because 75% of the surface of Earth is water. These oceans are massive. The Pacific Ocean, in fact, if you look at it from the right angle, is all you see. For instance, from the right angle, you can't see any continent, any land. That's how big the ocean is. It covers over half the Earth. And then, of course, there's the Atlantic Ocean and the Arctic Ocean, the Indian Ocean. Where did all that water come from? There has been speculation in the past that perhaps it was a comet. Comets are largely dirty snowballs, rock and gases frozen, including water. If it were to strike Earth, that water would melt and perhaps bring water to the planet. But how many comets would have to hit Earth in order to fill up these massive oceans? There's been a new theory that's come about, and it relates to what the star, our sun, is mostly made of, which is hydrogen. Radiating off of the sun is a solar wind, and that wind travels at about 1 million kilometers per hour. And in that solar wind, among other things, is hydrogen, and particularly hydrogen ions, a simple proton. And it's blasting out in every direction from the sun. Therefore, Earth would be in the path of that solar wind. Well, on the Earth are rocks. Rocks are predominantly minerals made up of molecules that contain an element we call oxygen. So oxygen is quite abundant on Earth, even from the beginning of time, but it was largely unavailable. It was trapped in these molecules, in these minerals in the rock. But over time, the theory has become this, that the hydrogen emanating out from the sun has been able to mingle with the rock and the oxygen that's in the rock on the Earth to form H2O. More than likely, the water on our planet came from a combination of the hydrogen from the sun with the oxygen from the rock. That's the theory. And it's a good theory. And it's interesting to note that water is not restricted to just Earth. There's water on the moon. It's frozen and it's underground at the base of craters. It would sublime, which is the evaporation process of a solid to a gas. There's no atmosphere on the moon, so it's difficult and unlikely to ever see on the surface of the moon, but there is water there. And there's water on Mars. And there's water on moons that are orbiting Jupiter and Saturn. Water seems to be found all over the solar system. Well, that makes sense, because the sun is radiating the solar wind laden with hydrogen, and every planet has some rocky content with oxygen, and therefore it's not unusual or shouldn't be a surprise to find that there is in fact water. It might even be the most abundant molecule in the solar system.